So let's think about all of the different ways that we can represent 7/9. 7/9. So let's just visualize 7/9. So here I have 9 equal sections, and 7/9 you could represent as 7 of those equal sections. So let me get myself a bigger thing to draw with so that I can fill this in fast. Which I don't like how that looks. I'm going to use the paintbrush. So here we go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. You know where this is going. 5, 6, and 7. So that's one way of representing 7/9. We already know that. That's not too interesting. But let's see if we can represent 7/9 as a sum of other fractions. So let's imagine maybe we can represent it as, let's do it as 2/9. Use a different brush here. So let's represent it as 2/9. 2/9 plus, I don't know, let's see, maybe 3/9, but that doesn't quite get us to 7/9 yet. 2/9 plus 3/9 is going to get us to 5/9. So we're going to need 2 more. So it's going to be plus another 2/9, plus another 2/9, plus another 2/9. So what would this look like? So let's just draw another grid here. So this is going to look like, I'll try to do it right below it so that we can see how they match up. So we have 2/9. We have 2/9. This 2/9 right over here. Well, we have each of these is a ninth. We have 9 equal sections. So 2/9 is going to be, so we're going to get 1 and 2. And then we're going to add 3 more ninths. So 1, 2, 3. So we add 3 ninths right over there, and then 2 more ninths. And then 2 more ninths. 1, and 2. So notice, when I added 2 ninths to 3 ninths to 2 ninths, this equals 7/9. And we know that when we add a bunch of fractions like this that have the same denominator, we can just add the numerator. And this is why. This is 2/9 plus 3/9 times 2/9 is going to give me 7/9. Let's do this one more time. This is actually a lot of fun. So let me draw my grid again. Let me draw my grid. And then let's see what we can do. So let me get my pen tool out. Pen tool out. Let me make sure my ink isn't too thick. Oh, this is fine. And let's add a couple of ninths here. So let's add first 1/9, and I'm going to write all the 9s in blue. And let's add 2 ninths. And then we could add, I don't know, maybe we could add, let me give some space here so we can add more. And maybe we could add 3 ninths. 3 ninths. And then we could add, let's see, that won't get us, you see, 1/9. Actually, let me just write this out. I'm going to try to add 4 fractions here. So let's add first 1/9, see where that gets us. So 1/9 is going to get us right over here. So that's 1/9. So let's say we add 2 ninths to that. So 2 ninths. 2 ninths. Get my little paintbrush going on. So that's 1 and 2 more. 2 ninths. So that still doesn't get us there. This gives us a total of 3 ninths. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 ninths. So let's, I don't know, let's add 4 ninths. 4 ninths. And I'll do that in this blue color. So 4 ninths. That's different enough. 4 ninths. So let's see where this gets us. Actually, well, why not? So 4 ninths. And so that's going to get us 1, 2, 3, 4. So that looks like it got us all the way, because 1 plus 2 plus 4 is going to give us 7 9ths. So what can we put here? Well, we could say 0 ninths. Why not? So we could call this one right over here 0 ninths. And how would we visualize that? Well, that's literally saying none of these. No ninths right over here. So this is 1/9 plus 2 ninths plus 4 ninths is equal to 7 ninths. So these are all different ways to decompose the exact same fraction. Let's now think about different ways to represent a mixed number. And let's say that our mixed number is 2 and 1/8. 2 and 1/8. Actually, let's make it a little bit more interesting. Let's make it 2 and 1/4. 2 and 1/4. So let's first think about the whole number part, the 2. Well, the 2 is going to be, the 2 is literally 2 wholes. You could literally view that if you want. Right here, we've drawn each whole, we've cut it up into sections of 8. So it literally is 8/8. So let me just do it like this. So the 2 is this whole region right over here. That's 1. So this right over here is 1. And then this right over here is 2. 2 wholes. So let me paint that in. So that is 2 wholes. And then I have 1/4. So this last piece, this last whole is divided into 8 sections. So let me divide it into fourths first. So that's 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. So we want one of those 4 to be filled in. One of those 4 in orange. So one of those 4 to be filled in. So just like that. You might notice that I filled in 2 of the 8s, and that's because 1/4 and 2/8 is the same thing. So there I've represented this mixed number, 2 and 1/4. Let's see how we can decompose this. So let's get our grids back. So how else could we do it? And I'm just going to throw a bunch of fractions up there and see what I get. See what I get. So the first thing I'm going to throw out is 1/2. So let's say that I want to throw out 1/2. So how would I represent 1/2 here? Well, if I take one of these wholes and I put it into 2 sections right over here, a half would be this section right over there. So let me color that in. So we have a half. So I'm first going to add a half, which is the same thing as 4/8. And you see that I just filled in 4 out of the 8 sections, which is exactly half of this first whole. So we're making some progress. Now let's throw in, I don't know, let's throw in 3/8. So what would 3/8 look like? Well, 3/8, that's going to be, these are literally, each of these boxes are literally an eighth. And I could fill it in however I want, but let me just put, this is 1, 2, and 3. And then let's fill in plus, I don't know, plus another 8/8. 8/8. Now what's 8/8? Well, 8/8 is a whole. And I'll do that over here. I still haven't filled this one in yet, but I'll fill in this one right over here. So let's do that. So 8/8. So that's 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8. And it's a whole. So I have a whole here. So that's 8/8. I want to make this one a whole because I want to get to 2. So let me put in a 1/8 there. So plus 1/8. So plus 1/8. Well, that's going to be this one right over here. So that's my 1/8. And then let's add another, I don't know, let's add another 2/8. Plus another 2/8. Plus 2/8. Well, this is an eighths right over here, so 2/8 is going to be 2 of these. And notice, you see that the 2/8 is the same thing as 1/4. If you took each of these, if you took this 1/4 and split it into 2, so you have two times as many pieces, it becomes 2/8. And you see that if 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 2 is 8. So that 1/4 is the same thing as 2/8. You see the 8/8 is the same thing as a whole. And you see you can make another whole out of 1/2 plus 3/8 plus 1/8. And they add up to a whole. And just to make sense of why that worked, this is 1/2 could be written. 1/2 is the same thing as 4/8, because you see that we filled in the 4/8. Then you have 3/8, and then you have 1/8, 1/8. And if you add all of these together, 4/8 plus 3/8 plus 1/8, you are going to get, in terms of eighths, 4/8 plus 3/8 plus 1/8 is going to be 8/8. 4 plus 3 plus 1 is 8. So you get 8/8, which is this entire whole. So hopefully that helps give you a visual understanding of what we're doing when we're adding and decomposing these fractions a little bit more.